of supervisors do you prefer to work with?
I like supervisors that are out on the floor, working with the team, but I also like supervisors that kind of let me set my own pace, aren't always in my face, and just kind of let me do my job, but is always available and nearby. So if I have a question or need to check in with them to compare goals and notes, someone who's definitely around but available.
How would you make sure that providers and team members are kept up to date on changes?
So the last few jobs I've worked, we usually have a group chat or a group email. We have group meetings either through Zoom or in person in a conference room. So it's very important that the front departments and the back departments, like the dentists, doctors, and therapists, know what's going on up front. So we try to connect either electronically, remotely, or in person at least once or twice a day, just so we can, you know, so we know what everything's going on and where people are, and kind of like making the office a fine-tuned machine.
What kind of team members do you find the most difficult to work with, and how do you address any difficulties? And then please provide an example.
The hardest kind of employees are usually the ones I work with. I'm used to billing, so sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming working at a front desk where you have to be on the phone, you have to talk to people in front of you, you have your own paperwork, and the supervisor wants you right now during during the busiest time of the day. So sometimes, coworkers can get a little stressed out, and we try to be professional, but everyone's human. And I just try to listen with empathy. And for instance, I had a coworker that got very frustrated working in insurance. So sometimes, if I was able to, I would, address it and offer to assist and help the person. So not only so they could get to their goal, but just help them because mental health is real important, and we don't want people to burn out or start not liking their job. But just helping out, listening, and empathizing goes a long way.
Within our job, we have to juggle many responsibilities. So, on any given day, what does your workspace look like regarding organization?
I'm very organized, so there's no mess. Everything is in its own tray, in its own spot, in its own file. I'm a perfectionist, so I like everything to be where I know it's going to be. So I'm not digging through 100 pages of files trying to find it. So everything in its own place, very organized. I like organizers, and I just like things in its place. So very clean, very organized, very professional.
When you are at the front desk, how would you handle sometimes we are short staffed or we need coverage, so sometimes you'll be at the front desk just to cover for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
How would you handle a personality conflict with an employee or a colleague?
So, working in many offices and being in school, I've come across a lot of personalities that work well together, and some don't. So I find out that most contention or issues is sometimes a miscommunication. So I try to listen, empathize, and if possible, and there isn't a rule that prohibits, I try to, do what the other person wants to most of the time.
Describe yourself as an introvert or extrovert.
I'm more of an extrovert when I'm at work. I like being there. I like answering phones and meeting or just